All right. Welcome, welcome. I always do just a little bit of an interlude at the beginning. My glasses are reflecting, but I'll need them to read all my notes to make sure we hit everything we want to hit today with our special guest, Denise. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of filler. I always like to make sure that 7 people tell me that we're on before I go any further. Okay, good. I got the thumbs up from Liz. So I think we're good. So
Right, good.
yeah, welcome. This is the first time we've done a live on Group X Pro in quite some time. So I want to thank you for joining us. We're hoping to do more of these here. I'm also doing a ton of Facebook Lives over on the ACE Group Fit page. So for any of you group fitness managers that want to give a little gift to your instructors and to yourself during this crazy time, please make sure they're jumping over there. I'm going to repost this on there next Wednesday as well. But excited to have Denise Imbesi with us today. She is the CEO of Muscle Mixes, and she has been, I forgot to put your little name up here. Hold on.
That's all right. Oh, there we are.
There we are. Hi, G.I. Jane. Yeah. So, I mean, I have known Denise. I don't even want to date us because, since we were children. And just kidding. But I have been so honored to work with Denise on many projects over the years, whether it's creating CDs or finding music for video productions that I've done, or just being, she's always been really creative about how can we move music forward in this industry. And I just appreciate how giving you have been with information, even before this whole crisis happened. And I know, like, one of my clients, I do a lot of consulting for different clubs and different people and different programs. And when one of my clients was in their spin cycle last week, freaking out about music, I was like, I know the perfect person to call and ask. And that was Denise. And she was able to jump on the phone, walk me through it, and then not to mention translate that into British. Because there is a translation into British, right? And get on the phone with those guys and get them a solution to do what we're going to talk about today first, which is figure out this whole new virtual world. So welcome, Denise.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Shannon. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. My first question is, how are you doing? Today's the first day of like official stay at home in Florida.
Yes. Can you believe it took, well, our county actually started a couple of weeks ago. So we're 2 weeks in. I think that I've realized that this whole process is like the grieving stage. You go through denial. What are the 5 stages of grieving?
Right.
Denial, depression. So I finally realized I'm in acceptance now.
This is just reality, right?
It's just reality. This is the new normal this week. And, everybody's healthy on my end. We've been bombarded with questions, as you know, the company.
Right.
So that's why I've been making the circuit.
Yeah, for sure. And hi, Pam Benchley. I love that acceptance. Petra and I did a live this past weekend for her and then for me on Monday. And we talked a lot about thinking. A lot of people jumped into this because everyone falsely assumed it was like a 2-week thing, like a 2-week pause. So it felt very much like a 5K. And like when you run your first 5K, what happens? You come out of the starting gate just a little bit too fast. Yeah. And then I know you've run some 5Ks in your life, and then you're gassed by like the half-mile mark. Exactly. But then you take a very different approach when you realize you're tackling a half marathon or a marathon. And I think those of us that have really settled in, I know I took the first week and did not react. I didn't think about what position did I want to take on the ACE Group Fitness page quite yet. Because I didn't know, like I couldn't tell if it was going to be the long haul or the short haul. And your decision from a business planning place is very different if it's short-term or long-term, right? And I think, like you said, most of us are looking at this now like a marathon. Florida's just going into stay at home. So if it's 2 weeks from then like, what does that really mean? Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna talk about that on all kinds of other lives today.
You can't not talk about it, though.
You can't. And music is, Group Fitness is the heartbeat of the club. I'm going to be talking about that later today on a Group X Pro webinar that Daxco and Club Automation and CSI is doing. But music is the heartbeat of Group Fitness. And I know a lot of people are struggling, more than ever. It's a very loud subject. Many clubs and instructors taking their classes online, and they're struggling with the music piece. Both, we've talked a little bit about the logistics of it, but also the legality. We're not really going to tackle the logistics today, but I do want to tackle some of the legality. And I know you've been like what we were saying before, Kelly and Regis, you've been like doing the rounds as the celebrity authority on music licensing.
Yeah, I'm pretty popular
It's
at the moment.
great. And you're keeping up with how it's changing and how best to protect yourself. So I do want to cover it. But then I've also been asking fitness pros and group fitness managers specifically to use this pause strategically. So I'm calling it a pause. Use this pause strategically to clean house, right? Like all those projects and nagging things that we want to tackle. But when you're a group fitness manager that has to deal with members, classes, subbing, upper management, special projects, new schedules, like we're always in reactive mode. So stopping
Yeah.
to think and figure out a solution for being legal with our music and helping our instructors understand that, we're just like, I'll deal with that later. So I definitely want to spend some time at the end shifting the focus to, okay, you may have a month, you may have 2 months, but what you're doing in this time, if one of those things that you can take some time to think about, make sure you fully understand so that when you go back, you are being 100% legal and legit with your music, I think that would be
Mhm.
awesome. Sound good?
I love that. I love that. That's
All right.
awesome.
So let's dive in. Let's start with virtual.
Okay.
People are on Facebook Live, they're on Instagram Live, they are Zooming, they are recording, they are doing
They
everything.
gotta do whatever they can.
They're doing whatever they can, and I appreciate it. Hi, Stacey Alden. So give us the highest level overview about what people need to consider when playing music, when delivering via these platforms.
Okay. Well, first I want to say that even though I'm CEO of Muscle Mixes, I am not an attorney. I have to always say that
Right.
disclaimer. Because, and really, unfortunately, the music industry is not as black and white as we would like it to be because there's many moving parts. But I'm just going to give you the overview, like you said, from a high level. What are the
Mm-hmm.
shoulds and shouldn't? When it comes to Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, right at this moment, the biggest risk is that the whole content will be taken down, or that the content, the audio will be either the content will be removed or the audio will be muted. I don't know if you've seen that or heard
Yeah.
that. So I spoke to ASCAP, which is one of the governing bodies for publishing companies, a couple of days ago because I wanted to get their read on. Of course, they don't even say hello when they answer the phone. They're just like, ASCAP, what do you want? Because they're so busy. They're even busier than I am. So what they are saying is they're not actively going after anyone. However, there are already artificial intelligence out there that is robots. I'm not a tech person, so I'm not sure what it's called, but there's pre-programmed functions that already catch that police music on the internet under these videos,
Sure.
virtual or video. And so they're not going to actively go after anyone because they don't have the time right now, and they realize that we're in a crisis. However, the overriding risk on Facebook or YouTube at the moment is that the content can come down,
Well,
especially if it's recorded.
that's huge. Gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. We haven't had that conversation yet, but because I see so many people posting that, right? They're like, well, they're probably not going to come after me right now. And
Right.
it's like, that's the least of your worries because, like I'm going to speak about in this other webinar we're doing later, if your members are depending on your virtual classes and
Right.
they're getting taken down because you've done this, whether beknownst to you or unbeknownst to you, I don't even know if beknownst is a word, but we're going to go with it.
It is, but I like
It's cool. I mean, it works. If
it. It
unbeknownst works,
works.
doesn't but
Unbeknownst, you know.
known to you. Okay, I've not had enough coffee yet today.
Doing great.
I'm really missing Starbucks. Anyway,
That's true.
where was I going with this? That would suck. Like
Yeah,
that would
and
suck. Like
I've seen it.
right. I know Stacey Alden's here
It's
from a great club in Seattle, and I don't want to butcher the name of it, so type it in the chat so people can come follow you. But what they are doing on their virtual streaming, like they have a schedule and they stick to it and they promote it with a great
love
cadence.
that.
And I mean, it's really well thought out. Like she has a strategy. She's not just throwing spaghetti against the wall, but oh my gosh, how awful it would be if that kind of just crumbled because the bot found her. So that's a really important thing. So we put together some of our frequently asked questions and they crack me up, but I'm going to ask them just the way they've been asked. And you just give us, this is like lightning round, right? Give us the yes or no answers. So
All right. Sounds
my
good.
spectacles on so I can see. So I pay ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC in my studio. Can't I just use that in music and virtual classes?
No, comma, but. Can I say a
Why?
but?
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess so.
all right. So they do have what's called a digital license. Do you know about this?
I don't.
So there's a difference between live streaming and pre-recorded video. What we're doing right
Oh,
now is live streaming.
Okay.
which means the person is broadcasting, the instructor is broadcasting a class live at the
Got it.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-recorded videos, if you and I were together, we videotaped something and then we uploaded it.
Okay.
So with pre-recorded, with live streaming, there is what's called a digital license you can get from ASCAP BMI. But it's a yearly fee. You have to pay each company, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC.
Okay.
It's in the hundreds, not thousands, not totally, out of the question in terms of affordability. And then the answer is you can live stream, but you cannot keep it up there. You cannot, leave it up there for longer than 24 hours. A lot of, I would look into it if you're really serious about this and you really want to have the popular music. Obviously, the alternative is to use royalty-free music, which we can go into later if you want, which is the virtual music.
Right. But I think what you're saying is really important. So there's a difference between live streaming and pre-recorded. Correct. And I hope you guys all heard it. And this is not the focus of this presentation. Come back later. But if you are in this for the long haul, which you should have been before. We all should have some kind of digital strategy. Like as fitness professionals, we just kept saying, but live is where it's at. Like we're never going to be replaced. We haven't been replaced, but this is a new reality. And now that people have tasted it, they are going to come back to your clubs. I have no doubt about them coming back to your clubs. But they are also going to want to have supplemental opportunities for when they cannot be within your four walls. So you really need to take some time to think about the long haul. And if long haul is you're going to live stream once a week or once a month, or you're going to record it, you really need to dig in deep with Denise and figure out all of these rules, because you're going to want to have a strategy and not just pray that you don't get caught, right? And it sounds like, I've got so many more questions, but it sounds like the royalty-free way is the easiest way.
100% right? Safe. 100% safe, least expensive, easiest. It's just not going to be songs people know. That's the downside. So,
it's not. But you know what? Like I know I had issues with that when I started doing videos, because I'm like, this sucks.
Such a bummer.
It is a bummer, but you make some really good music, and it has come a long way. It's come a long way. So don't discount it. And I think that's my biggest fear, and why I really wanted to bring you on and talk, is everyone just discounts it because they're like, it's not the songs they want to hear. I want you to trust that they are watching you because they're watching you. Like, music is powerful. Do not get me wrong. I understand that. But they are there for you, for the connection and for the exercise.
Absolutely.
So you definitely want to explore that. And I know Denise has a little offer for everyone watching this. And Teresa, to answer your question, I'll show it to you at the end, so you'll stay with us the whole time. But Teresa, yes. So as soon as we're done, this live will forever be on the Group X Pro page. And you can either ask them to come there, or I actually think you can share it to your instructors. If you have trouble with that, will you just ping me, Teresa, and I can give you a copy of it, and you can send it out to your instructors as well. And it'll be on the ACE Group Fit page next Wednesday too, if you don't want them on a group fitness management specific website.
Can I add one more thing in there? Because the question was if I already have an ASCAP license. So if you already have a relationship with ASCAP, call them up.
See what they'll do, right?
And say, hey, I want to go digital. I want to live stream, not pre-record. Similar to what you said Stacy's doing, have classes set at a certain time. Just ask them.
Cool.
You can get through.
Yeah, you can get through. All right. So can I just play Spotify during my Facebook Live class?
That is a tough one. I would say no. And again, most likely it'll come down, especially if you leave it up there. I think it's either Instagram or Facebook takes it down automatically after 24 hours, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But I just wouldn't, like you said, how important is the music? They're there for you. I've always said that when it comes to video, unless it's very dancey, a dance specific,
choreographed,
Zumba kind of a thing. Then I'd say, that's kind of tough because it's every move is choreographed to that song. But if it's just background, let it play in the background. You're going to be talking a lot more than you do in a regular class where you can just be quiet every now and then because you're on video, you're live. You have to talk. So you don't want to compete with the voices anyway. Most of the royalty free is instrumental. So yeah, and I would say the answer is no. I mean, the rule of thumb with copyrights is unless you've asked permission, if you're going to use somebody's copywritten work, and unless you've asked permission from the rights holder, and ask for permission means paid, to use it, the answer is almost always no, you cannot use it.
Right.
That's just
well, and I love a couple of things you said. So one, it's something I learned doing video production. Like as much as I wanted to use songs that had words, you can't compete with that when you're trying to connect with the camera. It's very different than live, very different than face to face, I should say. Two, absolutely. I have seen some people, I mean, the music quality is just bad anyway. So, I mean, if you're going to take all this time to put together a rockin' Spotify playlist for nobody to be able to hear it and you to be frustrated or trying to talk over it or somebody to be irritated, they can't hear it. Like, what's the point? Right. The workaround that I've seen, and we discussed it, you said it was okay for me to explain this. Some people are making their Spotify playlists and they're publishing that playlist on, their feed or whatever you call that technically. And then they are saying, okay, I'm going to count you down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play. You listen to it in your ear. I'm going to listen to it in my ear, right? Which is fine if it really matters, right? So like maybe cycling is a little bit more musically driven.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say, just you guys, as much as I am a producer of group fitness experiences, I am a consumer of group fitness experiences. And so I've been working out with our local F45 at home, and they're playing music. I can't hear it. So you know what I do? I turn it off and I turn on my own playlist. So really? I totally do. Like, I don't need their music. It's not choreographed to the beat. I'd rather listen to my music anyway. Exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is, instructors, don't freak yourselves out. Like, if you're worried about the legality, if you can't purchase the royalty free right now, or not every class works with royalty free, then they can play their own playlist. Not a big deal. That's that. Anyway,
I like that. That's not bad.
Right. I mean, it's a workaround. And then you were talking about Zumba. Do not forget, you guys, if you have a licensed program, one, I don't know if it's even legal for you to be delivering their class formats on your own. You need to check with them. And we're not tackling that right now, but you definitely have to check with them. And you definitely don't have the rights to play their music on Facebook.
No.
Or Instagram or anything else. Okay, cool. This is my favorite question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I be arrested? I hope not. But the follow-up to that was, or fined for using popular music on video.
I would say probably not to the first question. Fined, yes, you can be fined. Right now everybody's being lenient because of COVID-19. But after this, they're right back at it. They're going to be policing, and those copyright organizations, they do not mess around.
They don't mess around. Like, I was just reading another thing about the continual saga with Peloton. We don't need to get in it, but I mean, huge multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And now they're trying to get out of some of the pain of the lawsuit by just taking down the videos with the songs. Did you see that? Very interesting article today, right? Anyway, you guys know me. It's like squirrels all the time. All right.
I do the same thing.
This is a really important one. So listen up and write down the answer to this one. Can I just write, "This music is not owned by me," on Facebook when I post the video, and it be okay?
Absolutely not. I mean, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't make you, they're going to take it down. And again, a lot of it is not even humans. It's just a bot that's going to hear the song, listen to the algorithm of the song, the WAV file, and they're going to take it down. It doesn't matter what you write. But a lot of people have asked me that question.
And that's been bad advice going around, because people have just been like copying and pasting. I'm seeing it all over the place. So you guys,
you've seen it, right?
Denise is the authority. It doesn't matter. Like, they're not reading your post, and it's not someone sitting at a computer going, "Oh, well, she looks like a nice girl, and look, she wrote this nice disclaimer." It's a bot listening to your music, and it's going to yank it down. So don't do that. That's right. You already talked about it. Music companies not necessarily making any exceptions during COVID-19. They may be being more lenient.
Right.
But like you said, I think they are sitting around just like we are, very busy, trying to forecast and look into that crystal ball and see what's happening. And their radar is going up after the Peloton thing, because that was a huge deal. And they're going ding, 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 ding.
That's right.
People are going to be doing more of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know that it is a way to, or they're going to have to step up the policing of it. So I would not be surprised if, fine, they're going to be dormant for a little bit, just like a lot of companies are, but they are going to come back in full force. And if this is something you want to continue doing down the path, like we said, definitely need to know the legality. And then it says, so I am hearing, like I said, the best thing you do is do royalty-free music when you can and if you can. So can you, and you can get that from you guys, from Muscle Mixes and all of the big guys that have, how do you do it though? Like, is it in the same, because I know how I go and buy my CDs. Like, is it a different process to find royalty-free music?
Yes, there is. And what I would do, I was going to say what I would do, which I'll get to in a minute. But for royalty-free right now, we have our app, Muscle Mix Now, which is our app. And if you're already a member or want to become a member for $12.95 a month, you go to the instrumental section. And we've been feeding music in there since this whole thing started. And everything in the instrumental section is all royalty free, and you can use it. And the cool thing about it is you can create your own mixes. It's really fun, and you can change the beats per minute. So it's almost like, you're creating your own virtual royalty free mix, and it comes out really great.
It's really cool.
So, and I would, going back to what we were saying before, if you don't mind my interjecting, I would use a hybrid. Most classes are going to be great with the royalty free. Mm-hmm. If you have a couple of dance-oriented, specifically choreographed classes, then, tell them to put on Spotify in their ear or something like that. Or, even one of our other Muscle Mix albums in their ear, or another music company that you like. But that's what I would do if it was me.
Yeah, for sure. And I really want to finish highlighting on that. You guys, if I know this isn't, maybe I'll do another, and you can see my one fingernail that is destroyed. God, I can't wait to get back to doing my nails. Okay, I have to go like this.
When's that going to happen?
So, I don't know. And my roots. I'm so glad you can't see them right now.
Oh, boy.
Squirrel. So I know this isn't a live about how to be great on camera. It's not. And what the world needs with their fitness workouts from home. But if I can give you one piece of advice, choreographed classes right now, they are very challenging to follow with a live stream. Very challenging. And it's not necessarily, I mean, I'm not discouraging you from doing it, but the easiest classes to follow are ones where they are timed, or there are sets and reps, and people can pop in and pop out. They can be distracted and still follow. Like, if you've never been an at-home exerciser, I know right now you're focused on delivering at-home exercise experiences, but I also want you to try to consume at-home exercise experiences right now and see what the reality of that is. When there is a cat weaving through your feet and your kid asking you to help you get on a Zoom because they've got a call with their school teacher, and you're trying to follow a dance class, like it isn't feasible. So I know myself, I'm opting for shorter workouts that are easy to follow, but if I can't follow it, I can do my own thing and jump back in when it makes sense. And to your point, then royalty-free music it's totally fine, and it protects you. It's going to be great. So I have the little scroller going for, do you want to tell them about the offer? Do you see the scroll?
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
So proud of my scroll. Yeah, tell them about that, and then we'll get into the other.
I want to add, with the app, what we're doing with the $12.95, typically we charge $250 for a 60-minute mix for somebody to put music on a video. So we're waiving all of those extra costs and saying, if you have the app, just use it. And of course we sell them individually too. But so the special offer we have right now with that link right there is a $5 gift certificate, basically, that you can use on our site for anything you want, the virtual music or otherwise. So just click on there. It'll give you a code. You'll enter the code and you'll get $5 off. It's a $5. Awesome. Free,
very cool. Well, and I have a question from Laurel. I hope this makes sense. So royalty-free music, well, it's a statement that I think is a question. Royalty-free music can only be used in live stream or pre-recorded videos too. Both, right? It's royalty-free. Okay,
that's right. We are allowing that you can use it on live stream and pre-recorded. The only exception is video on demand or DVDs.
Gotcha. Sense? So not video on demand, not DVD, but most of you guys are not going that route. Don't make a DVD right now.
Yeah. No.
And if you're interested in buying DVDs, I've got thousands downstairs that never sold.
Hey, I have CDs too. Let's put it together. Let's put a package together.
Yeah. My daughter saw some of my DVDs the other day. She's like, what are these things? I'm like,
I know.
Anyway, moving on. Okay.
Couple.
As promised, we're going to shift gears.
Please.
Music in the clubs, because it has just as much misinformation. But like I said, typically we just turn a blind eye to it because we just don't have time to deal with it and dig in and figure it out. So again, love for you to give me a high level overview. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now, especially if you're a group fitness manager or even instructors listening. You may think that your group fitness manager and or your owner or GM has this all figured out and you're covered and everything's good. Be aware of everything that Denise is going to tell you and use it as an opportunity to sit down and have a really great business conversation with the next person up. Not to be accusatory or anything like that, but like, oh my gosh, during the break, I was learning, because I hope you're learning during this pause. It's a good time to. And here's what I found out. So I'd love to bring this information back to you. So while we've got some time, we can make sure that we're protected when we go back. So can you give us just, and don't, I usually keep these conversations to 30 minutes. So 5 minutes or less, as quickly as you can do it. What's the overview
5 minutes or less.
Yeah, in the club.
Okay, in the club. So we have Muscle Mixes. We have a license called mechanical license, which gives us the ability to sell music. Okay. When music is, then there's music that goes on a video, and that's called a synchronization license. When you play music in a public place, it's called a public performance license. So every club, now we're talking about the United States. I think that's who you mostly deal with here, because it's different in different countries. I want to make sure I specify. Are required to pay ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC to play the music in a public place. In the United States, in case you're interested, the artists do not get paid for public performance. Did you know that? Only the publishers get paid.
Wow.
Every other country in the world, they do get paid, but I digress. And I'm talking about terrestrial performances as opposed to internet. Okay?
Okay.
So yes, a club, a restaurant, a hair salon, any public establishment that plays music in a public place is required to pay all three, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. It is in the hundreds. It's a yearly fee, and it's really as simple as that.
And that covers you playing your music, power music. Okay. But
Spotify.
It does cover playing your own Spotify playlist.
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they just need the PPL with ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC.
Not PPL. ASCAP,
Sorry.
BMI, CSAC. That's the UK. That's okay.
Sorry. Oh, we were stuck in the UK conversation last week. So much is seeped into my brain.
I know. Public performance license. Those are called PROs, those companies, performance rights organizations. So
gotcha.
I know. I told you way too much in 5 minutes.
So Denise's cell phone is, no, I'm just kidding.
No.
You can send me the questions and I'll get them back to her. But
so anytime.
Yeah, so just make sure you guys are covered and that ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC are getting paid. Life is good. What else? Any parting words of advice? I mean, I know you're a big consumer of group fitness. What advice would you give us about what we're all trying to do right now to make sure that you stay healthy and happy while you're at home?
Wow, it's been a whirlwind. Right. I have to say, selfishly, I've been loving doing the online workouts. I'm taking classes from instructors that we've produced music for over the years, that we created music for. Jim Miller, David Snively. You haven't done anything. You need to get out there.
No.
Janice Sappho. I'm just having a blast. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm loving the virtual. I think that this is going to definitely take us into a new era. I heard something Sarah Cooperman said yesterday on a live stream, which was, and this is really true, that post 9/11, there were certain things that were put into place. When we get on an airplane, we still have to take our shoes off. So I do agree with her that there are going to be some changes that will go into place later after this pause is over. I know that didn't answer your question. What was the question?
Oh, just what we could do to keep you healthy and happy. But you did. I mean, I think what I gather as I talk to you, you're able to experience classes, whether it's formats or people.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
That you might not be able to. And I think that is a wake-up call and an exciting opportunity if group fitness managers can see both sides of it, What is the opportunity? The opportunity is you can experiment with new formats. You can experiment with new teachers. You can experiment with length. You can experiment with what it feels like. And there are going to be people, even if they're not the current people that are taking or that we're taking and in your front row, right? You can expand your audience. But the other thing you need to remember is if you are not going to service them digitally long-term, they have seen the dark side. And there are so many options. It's kind of like the revolution that personal trainers hopefully heeded before, where like we used to hold fitness knowledge and programming knowledge really close to our vest because it wasn't easy to find. And now if that is what you're trying to sell as a personal trainer, it doesn't work because I can learn how to do a squat on YouTube. It might not be great or as good as yours, but fitness information is ubiquitous, right? Like I can find a plan anywhere. So we're really going to have to step up our game. We're going to have to offer digital, whether you want to or not. And not just as a supplement to your current members, but as a revenue stream. I'm not even going to get into the debate about whether or not the free stuff is going to kill us all, but that's a whole other conversation. But
I do have one more thing. May I?
Go for it. Yeah.
Have you noticed no equipment?
I know that's coming back, right?
How about the fact that that's coming back?
And less complication.
Of course, weights are great because resistance, but
we're getting creative with less.
I love that.
Yes,
it's full circle.
It's so many great takeaways, and I'm hoping that Stacy, who I love to talk to, that's on the call, will be like, "Oh yeah, let's do a live on this and this and this and this and this." So we've got lots more up our sleeve to talk about because I do think we're going to have to reinvent ourselves and realize that if we don't give them digital options, there's so many out there right now. It's not that I don't think they're going to come back live. I think I already said that. They're going to come back face to face, but they're going to come back not for the fitness, but for the connection and the community.
Absolutely.
Connection and community. So how do we, make sure that we're leaning into that?
I'm sorry, I'm a talker over. I'm Italian, I'm Catholic. I'm from New York. What can I tell you?
Go ahead.
Somebody mentioned, I heard this in one of the conversations I had. How about starting your virtual class 15 minutes early? So you can so you can have that social aspect. Hey, how's it going? If you're doing a Zoom where you can see them.
That was Trisha.
And then keeping it 15 minutes later.
Yeah,
was it
it was Trisha. And it's funny because, and if you guys are watching like what your kids' teachers are doing in their virtual classrooms, it's the morning meeting, right? So even come online early, they may or may not organically talk, but to get the conversation started, give them a question or give them something to chat about. But you're going to have to start connecting the dots that way at some point because they're not coming back for the fitness, whatever. They're coming back for community and connection. So, but we still want to service them fitness. Whole nother conversation. We'll get into that soon. But I hope some of you guys, thank you so much, Denise. And if you guys have more questions for her, shoot them to me. I will get them to her and get it back to you.
Answer anything you need.
Watch this space. We're going to do more group fitness management specific, like programming management specific stuff to get us through. And if you guys are around, in 27 minutes, I'm doing a webinar on behalf of Dexco and Club Automation and CSI about how to recover strong. So all of that's in the Group Expo page or on the Group Expo page. Go register. And I'm not doing a costume change. This is what you get. Like, I'm just lucky that I got dressed, and I'll see you soon. So thanks, Denise.
So great. Thank you so much, everybody. It was really nice meeting you. And Shannon, you're amazing. Love you.
Love you, girl. Thanks so much.
Talk to you soon. Virtual hugs.
Virtual
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.